which quarterback do you think is next up for a big payday?
This is a tough one because you got all these young quarterbacks that's coming out and they're breaking out in their second year. This is like back-to-back seasons that a second-year quarterback that won MVP in their second career of starting is Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. And I honestly believe that Lamar Jackson is the one that's up next to get a big contract. Not similar to like Mahomes, but he go hit that $40 million a year. And I think so is because like they got the high odds, on each other. Not on each other, but they got better odds. The Ravens, they're expected to like win the Super Bowl, go to the Super Bowl as that. They are the top three teams that's going up to win odds to win the Super Bowl. And I honestly believe like with that rushing attack that they got occurred, that could be dangerous and be dangerous. And he been working on his pass, and so he got full support around him. And he got everything capable of winning one. I believe that he's up next, believe it or not.
So do you believe he's up next because of his individual performance, or do you think he's up next because of the team?
I think it's individual talent. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's literally changing the game over again in football. He revolutionizing the dual threat quarterback. Like that is starting to be a thing now. You got to think about it. Let me go back to college for you. For 2021 top high school recruits, Caleb Williams is the number one dual threat. He's going to Oklahoma. There's so many dual threats that's coming into the league that pocket passing or the strong arm is not capable of winning games no more. If you can run and pass at the same time, you likely go win. I'm just saying that he's a dual threat. He's up next, Trey. He's up next to get a big contract. That's me being honest. I was about to say Dak, but at the same time, they still got some stuff they got to take care of. First of all, he's playing on that exclusive tag, so that this is like another proving year for him and possibly Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, I got big expectations for Lamar Jackson. We know he's just reigning 2019 NFL MVP. You know, we all know last year he had a breakout season, and I believe Lamar Jackson is the most exciting player to watch in the NFL. I love Patrick Mahomes and how great of a passer he is, how dynamic he is, and I love how clutch DeShaun Watson is. But I think the most exciting player in the NFL is Lamar Jackson, and he's definitely box office. But I disagree with you about it being Lamar Jackson being the quarterback that's going to be next for a big-time payday. I'm going to pick DeShaun Watson. I believe DeShaun Watson is primed for a big-time payday. You remember last year, he had 26 touchdowns, just 12 interceptions, completed 67% of his passes, threw for close to 4,000 passing yards on the season, and he led the Houston Texans to the divisional round of playoffs. They came up short against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, but in that game, they had a 24-point lead. Play here and there, maybe the Texans would have been in the AFC Championship game, potentially against the Titans instead of it being Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. But I think DeShaun Watson is really in a position to get a big-time payday because I believe the Houston Texans, they are putting their franchise in DeShaun Watson's hands. When you trade away a primetime receiver like DeAndre Hopkins, you essentially are saying that, hey, DeShaun Watson, carry us to the promised land. Because now I believe if the Texans have some success and they go on a deep playoff run, I'm going to give all that credit to DeShaun Watson because I feel like at this moment, DeShaun Watson isn't playing with any elite talent around him. Once you traded away DeAndre Hopkins, you took away the primary star receiver that DeShaun Watson had. So therefore now the supporting cast that DeShaun Watson is playing with is not very good at all. So I believe when you look at the division as well, the AFC South, I think the Houston Texans are still going to be in control of that division. You look at the Indianapolis Colts, they brought in Phillip Rivers. We know Phillip Rivers struggled last season. He was a turnover machine. He had 20 touchdowns, but he also had 23 interceptions. The Jacksonville Jaguars with Gardner Minshew, they are a few years away. They got a good defense, but they're still not ready. So they're one of the worst teams in the NFL. And then you look at the Tennessee Titans. Do I expect Ryan Tannehill to lead the Titans to the top of the AFC South? I'm not a believer in Ryan Tannehill like you are. So therefore, I think DeShaun Watson, because he's in an easier division than Lamar Jackson, I think DeShaun Watson is more primed for a big-time payday, more so than Lamar Jackson. He's going to set himself up more, and I'm thinking about everything.
I think you need to reevaluate your opinion of what you just said. One, think about this. Lamar Jackson has the higher percent better chance of winning the Super Bowl than DeShaun Watson. Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest here. For DeShaun Watson to overcome this situation of trading DeAndre Hopkins, getting traded for David Johnson, you bring in Brandon Cooks in from the LA Rams, which is still it's a good receiver. Well, I'm not taking away from him. I'm not. But at the same time, you pay Laramie Tunsil. He's one of the highest paid left tackles. So you expected him to play all pro for the next 3 years. And for DeShaun Watson to even overcome these barriers, he has to play terrific. He has to have a terrific performance. But
he's capable of that. He's capable of that.
But at the same time, the Texans has been struggling. They has been struggling. You know, run game wasn't solid when Lamar Miller got hit down with the knee injury. I mean, he only had one option to throw to, DeAndre Hopkins. He had no reliable receivers. Kiki Kuti was always injured. Kenny Stills is when he come out of nowhere in the tight end position. There's no solidified top tight end for that team. For Lamar Jackson team, they have a destructive rushing attack that they just can plow you with all during game, Trey, all game. I can name Mark Ingram, now J.K. Dobbins. You still got Gus Edwards, and hey, you can put Patrick Picard in there if you wanted to. Hell, he can play any position if he wanted to. The thing is, the point is, Lamar Jackson has a higher chance of winning a Super Bowl as of right now than DeShaun Watson. You got to think about that.
Let me ask you a question. When you compare the AFC South and the AFC North, take away the Ravens and take away the Texans, which team after those two teams has the best chance to reach a Super Bowl? Who would you consider? In the AFC North and the AFC South, who was the third team that has the best chance to reach the Super Bowl behind the Ravens and Texans?
Ravens and Texans. That's a tough one because
no, I'm saying who's the next best team in amongst those divisions? AFC North, we know we got your lowly Bengals, we got the Browns, and we got the Steelers. Besides the Ravens, in the AFC South, okay, you get what I'm saying? Who you got?
Yeah,
what
okay, AFC South, right? The team that's right behind the Texans is obviously like you gotta be realistic. In my opinion, it's the Tennessee Titans because they got a good run game and a solid quarterback and Ryan Tannehill that got a great vertical threat, and you got to pound the rock in Derrick Henry. Now the weapons that they're adding to the team is making them more of an underrated threat. Don't use great in the same sentence as Ryan Tannehill.
I'm
saying, he fits the scheme.
But I'm asking you though, who is the next best Super Bowl contender after the Ravens and the Texans, comparing the division? Who would you consider it to be? The Texans. Who would it be? Would it be the Titans or the Steelers?
It was more. I think, in my opinion, if the Steelers has a healthy Big Ben and Juju Smith can get on board, they can build that connection. They already got a top 5 defense. I believe the Steelers, even though I hate to say it, they will have a higher chance. They will have a higher chance.
Okay.
But at the same time,
you fell into my trap. Exactly. Okay. Because we know the Pittsburgh Steelers are one of the top organizations in the NFL, and they got one of the best coaches in Mike Tomlin in the NFL, and they have a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback in Big Ben Roethlisberger. You feel as if they're going to have a chance and they're going to be a playoff contender, bare minimum. Therefore, I believe they're going to be competing with Lamar Jackson in the AFC North. It's going to be tougher competition for Lamar Jackson than it will be for DeShaun Watson in the AFC South, is my point.
But at the same time, that's a big if for Big Ben, because at the same time, the Titans, they're a solid team. They're a solid run game team. They can bear you down. And for the Indianapolis Colts, they got something to prove. Phillip Rivers, he's old. He got something to prove. Can he lead the Colts to the playoffs? I don't know about all that because I'm still a iffy. But the Titans, though, they are not some team that you sleep on. That's an underrated team that can pound you down the rock, man. I'm keeping 100 with you, man.
One more thing I want to say, too, before we move on to the next question. I want to say this. Although we love his running style and his playmaking ability, there are questions as to whether or not Lamar Jackson, Clarence, can stay healthy. Can he stay healthy through a duration of a contract? Can he stay healthy throughout the length of a contract? When it comes to DeShaun Watson, that's the strength of his game, is his ability to make plays with his legs. See, unlike Lamar Jackson, DeShaun Watson, the strength of his game is being a pure pocket passer. He can throw the ball down the field effectively. He doesn't have to make plays with his legs in the open field to be effective. Therefore, I believe the Houston Texans will be more, they'll give DeShaun Watson a big contract and not think twice about it than the Ravens, because the Ravens thinking about the possibility of Lamar getting injured. The Deshaun Watson in Houston, the Texans feel like we can just drop him back to pass the rock and we're going to be successful. Lamar in Baltimore is a risk because you never know. Taking all those hits, you don't know.
I think everybody misunderstanding that Lamar Jackson was led the NFL in most touchdowns and touchdown interception ratio, 36-6. I think everybody be forgetting that the part that he's a very underrated throw. He's an underrated good passer. He's a very underrated passer. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that right now. He's a very underrated passer.
Yeah. I ain't taking nothing from him.
But listen to this. The only reason that he struggled throwing the ball downfield because he didn't have a legitimate number one receiver. And that's something that young quarterbacks struggle with early in their game because they want that big play. They want that long pass. But at the same time, you got to take time to work on that. But for Lamar Jackson, they built all these weapons around him. They brought in Devin Duvernay, and he brought in J.K. Dobbins that can catch out the backfield. Then I forgot the L.A. Tech guy, Poole. I forgot whatever his name is. The point is, he got two reliable pass catchers that can be dominant on the team, that can grow with him. I just believe Lamar Jackson is definitely up next, man.
I like Lamar. I think he's going to get a big time contract, but I just think the Texans, they're not going to be as reluctant as the Ravens are to sign Deshaun Watson or compared to Lamar Jackson, because Lamar Jackson, the injury risk is at play. We negotiating a contract with the team. But let's move on to the next question. How many Super Bowls do you believe Patrick Mahomes has to win to validate this new contract? Because I'm going to say this real quick too. I think Fox, the betting number on it is 1.5. So the Fox betting the over and under is 1.5. So how many Super Bowls do you believe Mahomes has to win to validate the contract?
Like 3 more, in my opinion. Definitely 3 more Super Bowls. You got to think about it. It's basically a 12-year contract. So if you already won 1, so I feel like you need to win like 3 more. 3 more to validate that contract, because that contract it doesn't like include with the cap space at all. So they can maneuver around that. So they can pay him some of the money and they can pay him years back. But the thing is for that is that you can win Super Bowls during the time. You're making more money once you win the championship. I say 3, Trey.
I say 2. I say he got to win at least 2 more Super Bowls to validate the contract. Make no mistake about it. When you are a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes of his caliber, you're measured on how many Super Bowl championships you have on your resume. I think it's unfair because I believe in football, it's so many moving parts from year to year. It's hard to win a Super Bowl, Clarence. Like, people don't really understand how hard it is to win Super Bowls in the NFL. It is hard to do. So many injuries, so many different things take place throughout the season and different changes on the coaching staff. It's so many things that have to align for you to win a Super Bowl. I think in order for him to validate this contract, though, he has to win at least 2 more Super Bowls, because when you are great at the quarterback position, you're measured off how many rings you have and how many Super Bowls you have in your career. The great Dan Marino, he never won a Super Bowl ring in his career. And I believe when we have these conversations about who's the top quarterbacks of all time, people forget about Dan Marino because he ain't never won a Super Bowl. He never won the big one. My quarterback, I love Aaron Rodgers. You know how great I think Aaron Rodgers is. As great of a talent as Aaron Rodgers is, the fact that he only has 1 Super Bowl on his resume is a disappointment as a Rodgers fan and as a Packers fan. So that's why I think it's very important for Aaron to at least get 1 more before his career over with. But I think in order for this contract to be validated for Patrick Mahomes, I believe he has to win at least 2 more Super Bowls and finish his career with 3 Super Bowl championships. And if you get a 4th one, that was luck. That was just like I got that one just to add on to my legacy. But you got to get at least 2 more.